Yeah. So today I'm going to promote a new domain controller. So I will show you my computer is in work group. So then I will convert that work group environment into a secure domain environment, and I will create a new domain. Okay, the domain name can be your wish. I'll ask you which domain you want to create. We can create that. So before I promote a domain controller, I need to verify some things in the Active Directory. So in order to promote a domain controller, or if you want to have a server to be built, you need to check some pre-checks. First and foremost thing, you need to verify the name. Then you need to verify the computer has got the static IP or not. Okay, and then all the post build activities like time zone, all those things you need to check. So what I will do, let me check the host name of a computer. I'll go to command prompt and I'll type a command called host name. Okay, and you see here host name of the computer is DC-01, so it is properly renamed. And I need to check the IP address now. Let me use a command called ipconfig to verify which is my IP address currently to this computer. And you see here my current IP address is 192.168.190.30. Okay, and I would like to see whether it is a static one or dynamic one. So if you put ipconfig/all, it will tell you DHCP enabled is no. That means this is my static IP address. How to verify? You can go to ncpa.cpl. If you open a command called ncpa.cpl, you can open and go to properties of it, and then you can go to the TCP IPv4, and you see here you have an IP address manually added here 192.168.190.30, and subnet mask gateway and DNS is also added here. Why I have added the same server as a DNS address here? Because in this server I am going to install Active Directory. When I install Active Directory, the DNS will also be installed automatically, because Active Directory and DNS both are integrated. Without the DNS, Active Directory will not work, and that is the reason this server can be called as a DNS server as well as an Active Directory domain controller. Okay, that is the reason I'm adding this IP address. So I'm good now. I'm cancelling this one, and I want to show you whether this machine is there in the work group or domain now. How to check? You can use a command called sysdm.cpl. If you open the sysdm.cpl, it will take you to the domain management, and if you see, it will go to the computer name, and you see this computer is in work group now, it is not in the domain. If you click on change, you can see it is DC01, and domain it is not added, it is there in the work group. Okay, so now how can we convert an unsecured work group environment into a secured domain environment? Okay, some role I have to install. Can anybody tell me what is that role? Which role I need to install to convert one unsecure work group environment into a secured domain environment? Last 2 days I was talking about the same. Can you hear me, guys? Hello? Yeah. I need to install Active Directory domain services role in order to convert one work group into a domain environment. Okay. How to install? 1 second, guys. I'm having a call. Hello, morning, sir. Today I'll be coming, sir, but little late. Around yeah. I'll be coming, sir. Yeah. Okay, okay, sir. Sure. Then thank you. I'll be coming. Yeah, yeah. Bye, 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 bye. Sorry for that. So what we have to do? We have to install the Active Directory domain services role.
Sir,
So
once we install the Active Directory domain services, the same server is called as domain controller only.
yeah, if you install the Active
Okay.
Directory domain services role and promote it to a domain controller,
Okay.
that's what I'm
Okay.
going to tell you now. As soon as you
Okay.
log into this server, na any server that you log in, this server manager, console will open automatically. Any server you log in, either it is a server 2003, 12, 16, 19, 20, 22, or 2008, any server you log in, this server manager rules will be opening. So this is the main console where you can control the servers. Okay, you want to install a role or a feature, you can do from here. You want to uninstall a role or a feature, you can do from here. Okay, so now let me just verify. If I go to tools now, you don't see anything called Active Directory here. You see nothing is there with the Active Directory. We have DHCP, that we did DHCP class before the Active Directory, that is the reason, but we don't have any Active Directory here. So what to do in order to install the Active Directory application or a service? Here you see configure this local server. Under that you have add roles and features. Here, if this using this console, you can install the Active Directory domain service or install the Active Directory or any roles for that matter. Click on add roles and features, and it is asking you, this wizard will help you to install the role, blah blah blah. It will give you some explanation what all things it can do. Okay, click on next. As soon as you click on next, okay, there are two options. One is role based installation or role based or feature based installation, or desktop service installation. So I am going to install the role, so I have to select the first option and click on next. And now it is explaining you what is the server name. See, this is the GC01, and you see 192.168.190.30 is my IP address. It's a static one, and you see this is server operating system I have installed. So everything is correct. Now I'm going to click on next. Now I clicked on next, and you see here, as soon as you clicked on next, there are multiple roles are available here. See, multiple things are there. Okay, these are all the Microsoft services, guys. If you know all these services, you can crack the Microsoft interview like this, and your package will be minimum 60-70 lakhs per annum. Minimum 60-70 lakhs, and you can be in Microsoft. If you go to Microsoft, your package is more than 1 crore. Okay, just share, they will give you yearly share only, they'll give you around 20-25 lakhs. Okay, so now here you see Active Directory certificate services, Active Directory domain services, Active Directory federation services, lightweight directory services, rights management services, etc, etc. Multiple things are there with Active Directory. Can somebody tell me which one I have to install here?
Active
Domain
Directory
ADDS, domain services.
Exactly. I need to install ADDS, the Active Directory domain services, because I am going to create a domain server, domain controller or a domain. If you are creating a certificate server, first one. If you are creating a federation, third one. Okay. And you see here, I will just click on the Active Directory domain services now. I will add the feature. And see, I'm not selecting the DNS. DNS is here, but I'm not selecting it. I'm only selecting the Active Directory. Okay, I'm now clicking on next. And you see here, as soon as you install the Active Directory, click on Active Directory, automatically the group policy management got selected. See here, because group policy management is the one of the main module that will get installed when you install the Active Directory. Okay, because Active Directory will help you to do the centralized administration. So that centralized administration means what? Group policies only, correct? That is the reason it is installing the Active Directory. Along with Active Directory, it is installing the group policy management console as well. So I'll click on next now, and I'll say next, and I will click on install now. So I am going to install I am installing the Active Directory domain services now here. It will take around less than a minute. Okay, what happens? It will now install the Active Directory role. But if you just install the Active Directory role, it will never become a domain controller. Say for example, you have an offer letter at your mailbox. That means you are already an employee of the company. Are you? I mean, just to have an offer, are you already an employee? No, right? To become an employee, you should have an offer letter and you have to go to the office, join the office, then all the formalities, onboarding should happen. Like when the onboarding is done, then only you will be called as the employee officially, right? The same thing happens here. If you just install the Active Directory, it will never called as a domain controller. What we have to do, you have to create a domain and promote that to a domain controller. Okay. How to do that? I'll show you now. Let this get finished. So normally it will take 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. It depends
Sir,
on
actually,
your
DNS tool, if we are in like DHCP, if we have taken like a DHCP, not a static IP, then DNS will take the same IP only. Or in your personal computer, sir, the DNS and the DHCP tools are installed along with the OS only. So if we are for domain only, we use static. For personal computers,
for
it
personal
the
computer, it is
IP will be
dynamic. That's
same as
what. Only the servers
okay,
will
sir.
have the static IP. No matter whether it is a
Okay,
domain controller or DHCP or anything. All the server
okay,
operating system should have a static IP. Rest
yes,
all personal computer, desktop, laptop, everything should have dynamic IP.
okay.
The client
Dynamic
should
IP.
always have a dynamic IP and the servers will always have a static IP. It is not necessarily the client should also have a DHCP. Some environment you may don't have DHCP server because you only have 10-20 computers. Correct, na? That time you can even manually set the IP address. But servers should 200% they should have the static IP because the applications will be configured based on the IP addresses. So if the IP addresses are keep on changing, people may not be able to access the application because the IP address got changed. Correct,
Okay.
na?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say for example, if I send the address, if I send a letter to your address, it will go. If I simply write the Aadhaar number and if the Aadhaar number is keep on changing, whether the letter will come to you? No.
No. Yes.
So the same logic applies here.
Okay.
If an IP address of a server is 192.168.190.30, people will start accessing the application using that IP address. So if the IP addresses keep on changing, I cannot give you or tell everybody that IP address got changed. Nobody will come to know whether the IP address got changed and I need to use the new IP address to access the application. So that is the reason we always keep IP address static to the server and that is mandate.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. See here, it says configuration required installation succeeded on the DC01. Okay. So as soon as it says succeeded, you see promote this server to a domain controller. This wizard will open. You can click on this. As soon as you click on that, this wizard will open. Or what you can do, you can close this one. You can close this one and you see here in the server manager you see this notification warning symbol. Click on that and there you see configuration required Active Directory domain controller services at DC01 and promote this server to a domain controller. So you need to click on this link, promote this server to a domain controller. The same wizard opens here. Now the actual domain controller promotion wizard started now. Okay. So here multiple options are there. You see here 3 options are there. One is add a new domain controller to an existing domain. What is the meaning of it? Little meaning I'm asking. Add a domain controller to an existing domain. What does that mean?
Like additional one
Yep.
or adding that.
It
Yeah.
is an additional. You already have a domain. Okay, and domain controller also there. You are going to add one more to that. Like you have a bag, you have some already some groceries you have taken, and you are taking some more item and putting into it. You don't. I mean, you already have a domain there. Correct, huh? So do we already have a domain in our case?
No, sir.
In our
We are
case, do we
only
already have a
creating.
domain?
No,
We
sir.
don't have any domain because we are still in the work group. Okay. Then the
Yes.
second option, add a new domain to an existing forest. That means what? Add a new domain
Like
to
we
an
are newly
existing
creating.
forest. Yeah, go on.
Is it like creating a domain only, like
Yeah, it is
for
creating
an
a new domain to an
forest?
forest. Means you are creating a child domain for an existing forest. Like you have Microsoft.com and you want to create India.microsoft.com. That case you can go to the second option. So that second is also not applicable for us. Then the third option, add a new forest. What does it mean? You are going to create a new forest.
Creating. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are going to create a new forest or a new domain freshly from the scratch. That time you can select the third option and that is applicable for us now. So as soon as you click on add a new forest, you see here it is asking the root domain name. Can somebody tell me which is your dream company? I'll create the same domain. Anybody, any domain which you would like to join, or I can create the same. Let me create google.com. Okay.
Microsoft.
Yeah, microsoft.com. Microsoft.com. See, this is how the domain will get created. Okay. Say next. You need to give like this only. You should give the fully qualified domain name. Means it should be having .com, .in, .org. If you simply put Microsoft, see here. If you simply put Microsoft, see, it won't happen. See, the DNS name Microsoft proposed for this Active Directory domain verification forest name is failed because you have not entered.
Yeah, anything else you want to give like .com also?
We have to use .com, .in,
Okay.
.org, anything. You should have both prefix and suffix. See, if you want to call it as a domain, you should have both prefix and suffix. Correct? Now, Microsoft.com, .in, .org, .private, .net, anything should be there. Okay. So now .com I'm adding, and if I click on next, see, it is now validating. It got validated and it took me to the next page. Here it is asking me to select the forest functional level and the domain functional level. See here, in your environment, if you have all the servers, like domain controller with 2008 version, see here 2008, 12, 16, 19, any versions you have, you can keep what level of operating. If you have like server 2008, if you directly select to the server 2016, it won't work. So what we have to do, if you have a lower environment, you can select the lower version here. But in my case, I don't have any other domain controller. I only have server 2016 operating system. So I'll keep both forest and domain functional level at the same level. If you have mixture of operating system, like you have 25 domain controller, in that around 5 2008, 5 2012, 5 2016, then you need to keep 2008 only, so that all the domain controller will be compatible, create the compatibility with the server 2008 and communicate. Okay, that's the plan. So I'll keep it for 2016 only because I am only having 2016 domain controllers. Okay, and you see, specify the domain controller capabilities. It automatically selected the domain naming system server. Okay, and it is also becoming a global catalog. Or if you want read only domain controller, you can select this one. Okay, RODC if you want to do, you can select the third option. So in my case, I don't want to do any changes, but it is asking me to enter some DSRM password. So this password is important actually. Active Directory also got the recycle bin. If you get deleted something, if you delete something unexpectedly or accidentally, you can you can recover that by going to the recovery mode actually. That called is as restore mode, DSRM mode. To go to that recovery mode, you need to enter some password. That password I'm going to set, and this can be changed. Even if you forgot this password also, you can change it, not a problem. So I'm going to keep password at the rate 123, password at the rate 123, PASSWORD at the rate 123. See, password @123. It got installed, and now see a delegation for DNS. I don't want to delegate anybody, so I want this server to act as a DNS. So I'll click on next, and now you see it is asking me additional option. It will just tell me what is my NetBIOS name. Now the NetBIOS name is Microsoft. It won't give you Microsoft.com because Microsoft.com is not a NetBIOS name. Microsoft.com is a fully qualified domain name, FQDN. Okay, if you just write Microsoft, that is called as NetBIOS name. So NetBIOS name means it doesn't have .in, .org, like that. It will only have the half of it, the first prefix. Okay, so now I click on next. Now what it will do, it will take me to the next one, and it will show you the database of the Active Directory. You see here where the database stores. It stores in ntds.dat file under the C Windows ntds folder. So this is a folder called C:\Windows/ntds. Under that folder ntds.dat file will be there. Okay, so now, and sysbal system shared volume, I told you, right? So these two folders will be shared. I'll show you that once it is get created. So click on next, and see if you want to export this a script, you can view script. See, it's a PowerShell script. You can save it, save as all files, and what I will do, I'll store it as a PS adds.ps1. Okay, see my PowerShell got opened. You can run either, if you run this via PowerShell, if you run this with via PowerShell, if you run, it will open. See, run with PowerShell, if you do, the domain controller will start get promote. See, safe mode, it's asking some password and all. If you enter the password, it will start creating the domain controller in the PowerShell only. But I don't want to do that. I want you to see the each and every steps. Okay, so it is just asking you to review everything. You see here, your domain is Microsoft.com, your NetBIOS name is Microsoft, Server 2016 operating system. See, global catalog is DNS is yes, delegation is no, and see database, everything whatever we have selected, everything is coming here. And it is asking me to click on review and validate. I have reviewed it, and I'm clicking on next now. Now it will verify some prerequisites. Means whether the computer has got the proper naming it is having, whether the computer has got the IP address static it is, whether the computer has got .NET installed, yes, the .NET version is there. Some prerequisites it will verify. Okay, so now if you click on install, see prerequisite checks is passed and it is giving me green signal, go ahead and install. Now what I will do, I'll click on install. As soon as I click on install, see it is starting the installation, and you see each and every steps can be seen here now. Even the DNS install, see, waiting for the DNS installation to finish. I'm not selected any DNS role, but automatically the Active Directory is installing the DNS role. And it will also show you the, see, DNS server, it's a group policy management console needs to be installed. It is installing the group policy console. And then see schema, the partitions I was talking, configuration partition, schema partition, domain partition. See, the partitions are getting created now here. See, creating the directory partition. See, computer name, root, securing the machines. You see all the steps can be, see, Kerberos policies. And it is now configuring the DNS. It got installed, now it is configuring the DNS in the server. So this happens, see, done. That's all. Within fraction of 30 to 40 seconds, you can install that directory role and promote a domain controller. Okay. Now once the domain controller is promoted, it automatically get restarted. The server gets restarted automatically. Once the machine comes back, once the machine is back, right, that time it will never be there in the work group, it will be in the domain, it will get converted as a domain, and this server now called as a domain controller, Mallikarjun. Now you have installed the Active Directory role and you have promoted a domain controller. Now the look and feel of the domain, this server will also be changed. Okay, now this server no more called as a server, this server should be called as a domain controller, because we have installed the Active Directory role and we have promoted this server to act as a domain controller. Why do we call it as a domain controller? Because this is the one server you need, and I mean using this server you can control the entire domain, entire Microsoft.com you can control using this one. Okay, so let us wait for this to complete. It will take 1 or 2 minutes, because it will do some registry level changes and UI changes, all those things, and that is the reason it will take some time. So any question meantime?
Once we are creating a domain, after that we can create a work group or what, sir? Otherwise, we want to delete this one.
You cannot convert back to work group a domain controller. You have to delete it.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you delete, the entire shares of the Microsoft will come down. If you come to know if the Active Directory is down for Microsoft, just half an hour down, the Microsoft shares value will come down. The company entirely depend on this Active Directory identity and access management only. Okay, if you know, about 3.5 years back there was an outage for Facebook.
Okay.
For 6 hours or 8 hours, the Facebook, both Facebook as well as WhatsApp was down, and at that time the share value of the Facebook and WhatsApp, they came down drastically. Okay, so the core of the IT is in this one only, Active Directory only, because you don't have access means, if you don't have applications are running means, there is no revenue generate, right? So it impacts on the revenue. The people will start moving ahead. Like now Paytm, nobody is using Paytm. Now Paytm, you know what is the shares of Paytm? The Paytm is, they are closing their operations. So like that. Any other question?
But as a user, we can switch from domain to work group also for client side user.
Client machine, yeah, client machine you can add to the domain, you can remove from the domain.
Yes, sir.
But the domain controller cannot be. Even the servers can also be done. If it's a member server, like you have DHCP server installed, and that server is part of the domain, that server can be removed from the domain and put it back to the work group. And again, you can, if you want, you can add it back to the domain. But domain controllers you cannot do. If you want to remove the domain controllers from the domain, what we have to do? You have to demote. You have to demote this server as a not a domain controller. So promotion and demotion, two things are there. If you want to designate a server as a domain controller, you have to do the same fashion whatever we did now. You go to the add roles feature, you promote it. If you want to demote it, there is also an option. Remove this server, remove the Active Directory roles, and demote this server as a as not a domain controller. Okay, if you do that, it will actually come back to the, it will never be a domain controller. And after that you need to do a lot of changes, lot of cleanup you need to do inside. Okay, that is there. Yeah, it is not a straightforward activity, but if you want to make this computer back to the domain, I mean work group, you have to remove the Active Directory roles and demote it.
Okay.
Yeah. See, these are all very rare options you get it in the real time now. So you will hardly get the opportunity to promote the domain controllers. So what you have to do, you have to practice at home and get the knowledge, and then normally people will in the real time environment, no? So it is very important activity. It's very sensible activity. Okay, so if you are confident enough, they'll give you this activity to perform. If they ask me now, I can do it in left hand within fraction of seconds. I can do it. I know where is the problem, because we have a lot of experience, almost close to 14-15 years of experience we have, and based on that experience I know, okay, what is the error. If I just read the error only, will come to know. Okay, So if I get any challenges, then probably we can go to Google and we can get it done. Okay, or if we don't get that also, then we can go to Microsoft and take the support from Microsoft. We can create a Microsoft case and pull an engineer to the call, and we can get this sorted. That is also there. So meantime, I will create a new computer here, a Windows 10 machine, because I don't have a client computer now. So what I'll do, I'll just delete this one. A Windows client machine I don't have. I have deleted all the old one. Okay, let me have one Windows 10 because we need to have that. So I'll just create this PC. So this PC can be in work group or this can be in domain. So you can play however the way you want it. That's not a problem. Create a virtual machine 60 GB and I would like to keep it as a single file and finish. So now I have the Windows PC01. I'll go edit and add the CD, use ISO image file, and if I go to my this PC and D drive and softwares and ISO images, under that Windows 10, finish, and now I'm good to install it now. I clicked on. See, it got detected and the installation started now. Even DC01 is also up now. Let us keep this for installation and then we'll go to the DC01. Because I'll show you how to domain join and how to remove a computer from the domain, because these are all the things you should know. Because nobody will ask you to promote a domain controller if you go for work. That too for your experience, 1 year, 2 years, nobody will ask. And fresher, nobody will ask. Okay. So I'm going to install United States and yes, install now.
This is the PC01, right?
This is the client computer, yes. Because we need a computer. Now whatever changes you do, you need to verify. Now that is the reason I will create one PC, one DC.
Okay.
Yeah, DC means domain controller, PC means it's your personal computer or client computer.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have a product key and I would like to install Windows 10 Pro. Click on next, accept the terms and conditions or terminal the conditions, a license agreement. Yep. So I'll click on next. I will install it now. I'll create a drive 51,200 MB for 50 GB. Okay, and another remaining 10 GB I would create one small data drive and install in the C drive 50 GB. So now it will take about 2-3 minutes and it will just install. Okay, so let this get installed and get restarted. Meantime, I'll go to DC01. See, my DC01 is now fully configured. It got restarted also. Now if you see, when I try to log in, it is telling me Microsoft/administrator. The look and feel also got changed. It is no more a work group. Earlier it was only asking administrator. Now it is asking me to log in to the Microsoft domain as an administrator. So let me put the password. All the local user accounts now got converted to domain now. All the local users, whatever there na, they got created or they got converted as a domain users now. Okay, and Microsoft/administrator is the super power of the computer now. The entire domain can be controlled by using the Microsoft/administrator user account. So now what we will do, we will go to the tools and verify is there anything called Active Directory. See here, I have many things with Active Directory. Earlier we didn't have even a single thing also. As soon as you install the Active Directory domain services, you see you got Active Directory Administrative Center, domain centers, modules, sites and services, users and computers, ADSI edit, and you see DNS and you see group policy. So these many things got installed in the server now. But predominantly we will spend 90% of the time either in Active Directory users and computers and group policy management. Active Directory users and computer, it is the console where you can create your user account, computer object, creating the groups, creating the resetting the password, granting access, everything can be done in the Active Directory users and computers. So that is a console you need to always go. If somebody asks you how do you create user account, you will tell I'll log into the domain controller, I'll go to the tools, I'll go to the Active Directory users and computers, and I'll create the users in the respective OU. If you click on Active Directory users and computer, now the Microsoft domain, you see here a new domain called Microsoft.com, you can see here, and it is a fresh domain. You don't have any users at all. Only users you see, only administrator by default. See, by default administrator is there. So administrator, it is the built-in account for, see here, it is the built-in account for administering the computer or the domain. Okay, he is the user. Okay, and he has got full power, supermost power as got by the administrator. Okay, and you see multiple groups. If I want to create a new user, say Mallikarjun or Vishwa, I need to create, and I want to, they are working in the IT department, I want to grant them the similar access. What I can do, I can just create a user and make them member of this domain admin. See here, there is a group called domain admins. If I just add you to here, domain admin, you can do all the domain administration work. And you will be able to log into any of the computer in the domain. You can do anything and everything. You will have full power. Okay. Or if I want to do only the DHCP operations, then I will make you the DHCP administrator. Or I want to, there are multiple domains, not only Microsoft.com, UK, US, and India.Microsoft.com. Then what I will do, I will make you to the enterprise admin member. I'll open this group and I'll just add your account here, and you see administrator is already part of it. So if I add you, you don't need to provide access to all the domains. You will by default have the access to all the domains. And I was talking about the schema update. If you are not member of the schema update member here, see schema admins. Okay, see designated administrators of the schema. If you are not the member of schema, then you cannot do any schema changes. So these are the some of the important groups. First one is administrator is the superpower of the computer in the domain. Okay, and domain admin is the group we can add all the IT users to give access to entire domain. And then we have enterprise admin to provide access to the entire enterprise, and then schema admins. So these many things you should know as part of the Active Directory or administrator. Okay, so any user that you create, by default he will be part of this domain users. Any user that you create, see members, nothing is there now. Okay, so I'll just show you now. I'm not creating or adding any user now. I will just create a user, and you see that user is by default will be part of domain users. Any user that you create in the Microsoft domain or the domain controller, he will be part of the domain user. That's what I was telling. There are two types of user. One is domain user, another one is local users. Local user means you create them in the local computer. Domain user means you create them in the Active Directory domain controller, right?
Local user means you want to create in your
laptop.
workflow. Yeah.
In your laptop you can create. If you go to run and type ls, us or mgr, there you see users.
You can create in work group also.
That is in work group also, yes.
Yeah.
Either it is in work group or it is in domain, you can create the local users.
Okay.
See whether the machine is there in the work group or in the domain, there you can create, see, except domain controller you can create users, local users, but in the domain controller you cannot create local users. You see here that console will not work here. Let me show you that. See, if I open lsusr l local user mgr.msc, that says this console is not, it is deprecated. See, the computer DC0 is a domain controller. This snap-in cannot be used on a domain controller. Domain accounts are managed with the Active Directory users and computer snap-in. That means as soon as you promote this domain controller, this local user manager will not be there. If you see here, if I run my lusrmgr.msc in my local computer, I am able to open the console, see, and it is opening me, and it is telling me to click on users to create a users, or click on groups to add user to the groups. Correct? Because this machine is not a domain controller, that is the reason I am able to open this. But as soon as you promote that server to a domain controller, right, then this snap-in will not work. And it says you cannot use the snap-in because the accounts are controlled and managed by Active Directory users and computer snap-in. That is the reason I came here. See, this is Active Directory users and computer snap-in. You see, the local administrator has become domain administrator now. Okay, the default account, whatever was there, it got disabled. Guest account was there, it got disabled. Okay, so now this is the basic thing as soon as I create it. So, and you see now there is no structure, but Microsoft or the Active Directory will help you to keep the things in a hierarchical manner or in a structured manner. Say for example, in Microsoft you have multiple offices, and let us start. We will have an office in India. So what I can do, I can create an organization unit under Microsoft.com in the name of India. See, I have created a new organization unit. That means under Microsoft there is a company in the India. So India, not only India, in India we have multiple other offices. What I can do, I can create a new organization unit called Pune, because we have Pune offices. We have office in Pune, Microsoft office is there, and you can also see Bangalore, Microsoft is there. One more organization unit, BNG. Okay, not only Bangalore and Pune, you also have office in Hyderabad. You can create HYD, Hyderabad office. See the hierarchy how I am creating, and then you have also offices in the Delhi. Correct, na? This is the hierarchy I am talking about. If you look at Microsoft as a forest, under Microsoft you have offices in India. In India, multiple places you have offices. You have office in Pune, you have office in Bangalore, you have office in Hyderabad, you have office in Delhi. So each and every region has got its own departments. So when I go to the Bangalore Microsoft office, in Bangalore, not only users are, in a single department, there are multiple departments are there. Okay, we have IT department under Bangalore, and under Bangalore we have admins also. Admins. Under Bangalore we have sales also. Sales team, very very important. They are the one who brings the business. Okay, and you have many other departments. HRs also there, the recruiters. You can create HROU. See, this is the hierarchy I am talking about. And under the IT, it is not a single department. IT is huge. You further have like Windows, Azure, Cloud, Intel Engineer. Windows team is there. Okay, under IT you have developer. Okay, and you have testing engineer or cloud engineer. See, like this you have multiple departments. This is what we call it as hierarchical structure. So Microsoft Active Directory Domain Services, it is an identity and access management service of Microsoft. It will help you to convert an unsecured workgroup environment into a secured domain environment, and also provides the hierarchical placement or a structure for your organization. Okay, now for testing, if I just create a user in cloud, if I just create one user called Vishwa, say for example, okay, so see, I'm just creating Vishwa @microsoft.com, and I'm just setting password @123, password @123, and I don't want to change the password at next logon, but ideally you should change the password at next logon, because see, you as an administrator, you create the username and password, but ideally the password should be known by you only. None of the other person should know the password, right? That is the reason we should always set it for user must change the password next logon, but here I'm just creating it for my usage, so I'm just created, finish. Now I have created the user called Vishwa, but I have not added Vishwa to any group. But if I go to groups here, users, and if I go to domain users, you see Vishwa will be part of it. See, Vishwa is part of this group. Where is he? He is there under Microsoft.com, under India, under Bangalore, under IT, under cloud. So he belongs to cloud department. This is called as canonical name, or distinguished name we call it as. Okay. So now if I go to India, Bangalore, IT, cloud, you can double click on Vishwa's ID. Go to accounts, and you can see many other options. Okay, or you can go to, what I can do, you can go to Weave, make it advanced features. Now if you open the India, or if you don't want to do that, you just right click, find here, and type Vishwa. So Vishwa will come. See, Vishwa will come. Now go to the object. Okay, see this is the number I was talking about. This, I mean, you can see that via command, you will never see the number, the ID, the RID of a user directly. You have to see that in the command prompts. Okay, PowerShell, but this is the number. So the RID of this, the RID sequence for this particular user is this one. Originally it has got 12,800. No, currently it has got 3 are already used. Okay, this number will be keep on reducing as soon as you create more and more number of users. So the RID is responsibility to have multiple RIDs. Okay, count. So that's about the basic today. So tomorrow what I will do, so tomorrow I will show you what are all the day-to-day operations with respect to the Active Directory, starting from a user creation, password reset, account loggouting, troubleshooting issues, creating a group, adding user to the groups, and how to grant access to a computer or an application using this user IDs and groups. Okay, how to domain join, all those things tomorrow I'm going to show you. Okay, so any question?
Sir,
today?
yes.
Yep.
Sir, you earlier classes you told like using server administration tools, some tools like as a desktop support we can add or rejoining or adding users. We can also do there only.
Correct. Remote server administration RSAT tool actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
sir.
I can show. No problem.
Okay.
See, it will look like same only. See, nothing but in
Okay.
normally for your level, like level 0, level 1, there won't be any
Okay,
access to the domain controller. They will not allow you to log into the domain controller. But you need to
Yes,
have
sir.
this console visible. So that time what they
Okay.
will do, they will install the RSAT, remote server administration tool. Okay, in your
Okay.
gem server. So that looks like a domain controller. You can open the same, you go to the tools, open the Active Directory, and all will be possible there. Okay, that is called as RSAT. So I'll show you that.
Sir, means we will log in there as administrator only.
Yep.
Yeah, in RSAT. Yeah. Okay.
You will log in as an administrator, but your ID will not have much this thing will be delegated only to reset the password, create the user account. Some limited access will be given. You can create the user account, disable the user account, and reset the password. Account unlocking can be done, or domain joining can be done. Delegation. Okay,
Okay.
that's all. Okay, so with that we can, I'll pause the recording, stop the recording now here. I just did it.